Welcome to Let's Talk Motivation. I'm your host, Serena Miranda, and today my guest is Pennie Owens, and a business coach, as well as the NAWBO Women, I got to read it, Who Inspire Gala Director. This is serious because everyone loves a gala, and I can't wait to talk business and talk gala with Pennie. How are you doing, Pennie?
I am great. Thank you for having me, Serena.
Awesome. So tell me what is your, I know we put the NAWBO Gala Director, but I want to know what your main business is.
Okay, like first you want to say like mom.
Oh, that's true. We're both
right,
moms
right?
first.
That's the first one, right? What for me, I'm like most women. That's a hard question to answer because there's so many different things that you are doing. So even though with having a business, I still feel like that's not my number one job. That's not the one that takes all the energy, sweat, and tears. I'm like, oh, my job is easy compared to just home life. Okay, so that is interesting. Now, my actual job is that I am a leadership empowerment consultant. Now, I'm a leadership empowerment consultant and the CEO of Pennie Owens LLC, and I am the creator of the T.R.U.E.L.Y leadership system. What I do is change the culture of leadership through purposeful and driven actions. That's what I do. So I am that one. I can change your life and change the atmosphere where you work at too.
That is more than a coach. You are changing the leadership of businesses. And
yes.
How long have you been doing this?
Now, this particular business, it's only been 2 years, but my history with coaching, that's going on 17.
Wow.
Yes, it's different, but it's all the same work when you really think about it. You know, coaching and consultancy, you're listening to someone give you guidance. They're from the outside, they're looking in, they can see a problem that you may not be able to see yourself, and they give you solutions. And I'm all about expediting the process of everything.
Yes. And, I didn't see the importance to coaching until I started this journey on when I turned 50 and taking over my insurance agency and making it mine. And
Did
now that I have
50?
I did. I turned 50.
You're just going to sneak that in there and we're just going to, we didn't hear that? What?
I know. I don't like it, but just kidding.
I would have lost all my money on that bet.
Yes, I turned 50. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be 52, girl, this September. I try not to verbalize.
You've been 50 for almost 2 years. What?
Yes. And the first year, I just literally was like building the foundation. We already had the insurance agency because we own an insurance agency, my husband and I, but we didn't do anything with it. So I took it over and I said, by the way, I'm in charge now. I'm booting you off and it's all mine. And he goes, okay, whatever. Do what you need to do. Tell me how I can support you. But yeah.
That's awesome.
But now I have a coach. And let me tell you, she's tough and she asks me a lot of questions. And I remember when I started with her, I couldn't answer them like sales wise. And now I have a lot more clarity and I know, I have to see her once a week, so I better have answers.
Yeah, yes, but it's easier once you start the process. I love questions. Yeah. I absolutely love questions.
Well, let's start because I have some questions for you. Okay. So tell us about a moment that you realized you were being called to lead from a place of purpose.
Oh, I just love that question. So a moment for me, that moment was over a stretch of several years. And I mean, really, I'll just give you the whole backstory for it because it was over several years. And it was in my 20s. Okay, in my 20s. I'm still thinking about how old you are. I cannot believe it. But in my 20s, after a failed marriage and 100 emergency room visits, okay, I was told that I had several brain tumors affecting different parts of my body, right? And after 2 years, I couldn't stay in denial about it. I had to, figure something out, but I was alone. Like I said, failed marriage. I was alone and I still had young children to take care of. And life doesn't stop for anyone. Man, women, rich, poor. Life has no favorites. So
That's right.
I decided that I was going to keep the tumors, that I was going to keep the brain tumors. No surgery, no risks. And I was going to use the time that I had intentionally. I went on every single field trip. I ate well. I did the research on natural remedies, and I was excited about it. I was checking off all the boxes, right? Just getting everything done. And I told God that I wanted it all and let his will be done. And guess what? His will included me going back to school and becoming a master life coach from my bed. My bed, which led to me fulfilling my purpose. And I began helping hundreds of leaders, especially women, to live in their purpose. I got remarried and I gained extra children. So I was like, this is great. But my health, it continued to decline. Like it just still went down. So, and that was just because the truth still remained. I had brain tumors. And I had to look at that. They had grown, and then the only thing that we didn't know was that whether or not they were malignant or benign. We had did everything. We had did everything. And unknowingly, during this time, like this journey, I ended up fighting for my life. And during the time period that I had accepted death, I actually created a life worth fighting for. So I prayed for next steps. And you know what I got? I got, do you trust me? God had already done so much for me, and I went ahead and set up for the surgery. So I had the surgery, and it was almost a waste of time. It just made us more confused. It was too risky to finish, and all we found out was that it wasn't cancer. They closed me up, tumors intact, intact. And here I am, 4 years later, stronger than I've ever been my whole life.
Oh my God.
God healed me. And with this new life, I'm going to spend it serving him, period.
That is amazing. Well, I don't know, but you said all we found out was it was not malignant and I'm not cancer. And I think that's a huge part of how important it was for them to open and check, because they probably, would they do a biopsy? They wouldn't have known.
That's what that initial surgery was supposed to be, for a biopsy. But the doctor was like, okay, there's no reason. Because when I say that everything that I had, a diagnosis for every single part of me, I was completely disabled. Who you see in front of you right now is not who I was years ago. I'm talking about on canes, not being able to walk. My children helped bring the groceries in. I could not pick up a gallon of milk. Completely different. Only awake for like 3 and 4 or 5 hours a day. Completely different. Now, so this was supposed to be the biopsy, but the doctor's like, okay, if I go in there, I don't want to risk you. I'm blind.
Right.
The tumors were inside the trigeminal nerve. It's inside a casing, so which is why we couldn't see them. He said, I'm just going to try and go for the biggest one. Maybe I'll scoop as much of it as I can out, but there's a very high risk that I'm going to go blind. I'm already pretty much legally blind, so that's not going to work. Yeah. So that was supposed to be the biopsy, but he's like, we're going to do as much as we can. We'll get some out. I had some spots on my crane, so I actually had the brain surgery, the biopsy, and a craniotomy. And afterwards, it was interesting because he was just like, I don't know. We've tried everything. They sent their samples over to other universities and other hospitals, and no one could figure out what the tumors were made out of. They just confirmed that it wasn't cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, I'm not going to keep messing with you. It's too risky. So yeah, they closed me up, tumors intact. But it was God, the reset button afterwards.
That is a purpose. That is a place of purpose for the beginning, right? Oh my goodness.
Because you're just like, I was prepared to die. I had a will and everything. Like everything. I made sure that everything I did with my kids was a field trip. HEB was a field trip. We learned how to read and spell, and because they were little, everything was amazing. Every conversation was on purpose, because I did not think that I was going to be here to see them graduate at all. I had accepted it, and that was the reality. I prepared my family for such things. Like I said, I wrote my will early, and it was just like, I'm going to make this time count. But to go through that, and not only was it, I mean, scary because it's brain surgery, but I'm hypersensitive to everything. Dyes, MSG, opioids, all of those things trigger some of like seizures and allergic reactions and can't breathe. So you know how that's why I avoided the surgery for so long.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I can't take a Tylenol, brain surgery is probably gonna kill me.
Oh my Lord. Yes.
But it didn't. And it changed everything. Because it's like, I'm still here. Now what? What are you gonna do now? And I had never thought about it. I had accepted death. So I never thought about next steps.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're on the other side of things, I'm like, there's nothing you can't tell me I can't do. I don't care who's talking.
That's true. That's true. How many years ago was that?
4.
Oh my gosh, Pennie. Wow.
4. And that's not that long ago. And that's why I'm like, it was one thing. I mean, a lot of people don't want to be sick. You don't want to have to go through any type of trauma. Okay. No one wants to go through trauma and pain, but you learn the most valuable lessons through those kind of situations. I wouldn't change it at all. I mean, during that time period really where I had to stay in the bed just so I could be awake, so I could pick my kids up from school, to hurry up and finish dinner, take care of their homework, and get us back in the bed real quick before I pass out. Oh. Those days taught me how to really appreciate every single moment. Like every day, I've been just excited and curious. So I live my days being curious, like, all right, Lord, we woke up today, so what are we doing?
That is right. That's right. Yeah. That is a beautiful story. And it's literally, I believe God puts us where we're supposed to be. And you and I met in front of that little coffee bar at the NAWBO. Oh no. Yeah. The
summit,
the
NAWBO
Leadership Summit. And we literally did not see each other for almost a year after that. Did you notice that?
I know. I would see you in passing or just really quick and other things. So I knew you were active. Right. It's like, hey, Serena.
She is.
Serena. But totally. It's like, how did the year go by? It's like, I actually like her. I don't understand why I haven't seen her. I like her.
And then I pull up and I'm like, I know her. I'm like, to go, where were we going to drive to?
We were going to Austin to celebrate the 50-year anniversary.
Yes.
At the Capitol. And that ride, what stays in the car, stays in the car. But that ride was awesome. I've never had such a smooth trip through that kind of traffic. I mean, there was no traffic on the road. It's totally like God was just like, you guys are gonna have fun. I'm gonna keep every obstacle away from you. We parked out front. It's downtown.
Right in the front. Exactly.
That never happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a smooth drive, and that was my son's car, and I'm like, man, your little Honda was super nice, and I might have to take it on a road trip again.
I don't know how he felt about that, and it was like, Mom, give me my car back.
Yeah, he did it. He did it. Well, I noticed on your website, I was doing some investigating, and your work focuses on changing the culture of leadership. So in your experience, what's the first belief or behavior that needs to shift?
Oh my gosh. I love your question. Man, the first thing that I would say needs to be addressed is depression. Depression. I've observed hundreds of depressed professionals, and I mean professionals with a lack of faith. This was with my doctors and the clients that I was seeing. It was everyone. I'm talking about people in power that are in leadership roles, on boards, CEOs, just several different people, but they're completely depressed. They're unhappy with their lives. They're responsible. They're successful, but they're completely unhappy. And they influence our communities. Like they influence our day-to-day lives. And I saw that too many times, almost every single time. I was very moved and agitated by it. So I decided to do something about it. I wanted to take that one-on-one to more of group coaching. I did that. I set up a course, workshops, and I'm like, no, this isn't enough. With everything that's going on in the world, with our national leadership, and that, okay,
Yeah.
it's growing. The depression rate is growing, and the lack of faith is increasing as well. So I'm like, okay, all right, the groups are cool, but I'm going after leadership. Like, I need to talk to someone else because they're the one that makes the decisions that affect all of us. That
Right.
affect all of us. So that's why
So
I
do you,
joined NAWBO.
yeah,
'Cause-
exactly. So do you think that they are depressed because of their lack of spirituality or their
well,
lack
yes,
of,
that is an easy yes. Easy yes. If you don't believe in something bigger than you, then all you're paying attention is you. There's too many people on earth for you to think that the world's about you.
I just saw, I'm going to send this to you. I just saw an interview where now they're doing brain research on the brain of people that have had a strong spiritual connection their entire life,
Mhm.
or have healthier brains and have a less susceptible um, exposure where they dementia and
Mhm.
Alzheimer's in their old age, and the ones that have documented absolutely no spirituality, whatever it is, right? Whatever
Yeah.
your spirituality is connected to, they
Mhm.
are more sickly. And I was like, that is incredible. It was
No,
amazing.
no, I can see that. That's totally true. I mean, when you think about dementia and diabetes,
Mhm.
tumors, or blood pressure, it's usually related to stress. These are fibromyalgia. These are stress related
Yes.
inflictions. Pretty much,
Mhm.
this disease comes from being uncomfortable, worrying about things. It manifests into your body. It takes on a physical manifestation. Be careful what you think
100%.
about. Right?
100%.
Mind over matter. Be careful what
Mhm.
you think about. So there's a real thing there. A lot of the cancers that we have, I would not be surprised if they stem from toxic relationships that we deal with.
Right. Right.
We deal with a lot of stress on a regular basis, and we eat McDonald's and we stand in front of the microwave. So
Mhm.
we're gonna have some issues, but definitely with the faith. If you don't at least have some type of hope and some
Mhm.
type of source to guide you outside of your opinion
Yeah.
and TikTok, you're in trouble. You're in
Has to be
trouble.
100%. And positivity, because I'm
Yeah.
big on having a positive mindset and really feeling that everything's going to be okay, because I've gone through some crazy stuff. We survived. I like to say we survived the 2008 crash because we had a business, and we went from literally having income from one day to the next and having absolutely no money, and having and three babies, a little dog, and thinking, how am I going to feed everybody? Right? How am I going to?
Mhm.
So that fear and the worry, it makes you
It's real.
physically ill. It can make you ill. And just this, I was at church the other day, and I was walking and I saw this guy's t-shirt, and I was like, I want one of those. It said, if you were to pray as much as you worry about a problem, you'd be okay. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. Yeah. If the
I like
amount
that
of
shirt. I
time,
agree.
right?
I totally agree.
It's so true though, right? It is so true. But yeah, I hadn't thought of that in leadership. And I'm going to give you a story. When I was an educator,
Mhm.
I had worked for a certain district here in San Antonio, and
Right.
the environment, the leadership environment was very toxic. I mean, to the point where we would open our doors and look both ways just to avoid that one leader. And because it was every every time we saw this person, it was conflict and fear
Mhm.
and anger, and it was toxic, because then you'd see the teachers taking it out on the students, and I would be
Exactly.
like, okay, this needs to stop. I
It
was
caused a
like,
ripple effect. It
yes,
does. It
it does.
causes a ripple effect. And that
And
example is exactly what I'm talking about. And
mhm,
that's just because we don't think about it for how deep it really goes. We didn't say that the ripple effect was only one or two people. You have no
no,
clue. It's like you can change somebody's life in a conversation, or you can be the last thing that pushed them over the edge. And
exactly.
that situation, it expands out past just the conversation or whatever just happened. So it's like you have bad leadership torturing the teachers. The teachers are dealing with the kids a certain way. That's our future. Now they're insecure.
Mhm.
Now the teachers aren't putting their energy into it. The kids are not educated. That's the
Right.
next level of community. Like, it's so much bigger than we just think,
Yeah.
okay, well, I'm going to work and I just don't like my boss today. It's bigger than that.
Mhm. And
It's
then the
much
teacher
bigger than
takes it home, and the child takes it home, and then it's just dominoes
that.
everywhere
And
falling.
You ever seen like those zombie movies? It's like you get one infected, then it just spreads out. Yeah, that's how depression works.
Seriously. I agree. Yeah, that's really,
It's
really
true.
important.
And that's why I couldn't continue to watch it. I mean, as far as me, especially what I learned was just like, there's bliss in ignorance. I see that, but you want to be informed and you want to be educated, but you want to be intentional about what it is that you are putting back into the earth, what you are contributing to your community and your household. You know, it starts with you. And I stopped watching the news. I know it's been over a decade. I'm watching it now, but I mean, everyone's going to talk about it, so I'm going to find out, right? But I purposely stopped because during that time period, with me being completely sick, Serena, when I tell you that not being able to be awake for more than 4 and 5 hours, I made sure I paid attention to everything that was going to use my energy. Exactly. Okay, you cannot stimulate me to be upset or to be overwhelmed or anxious because I only have 5 hours to make my day count. It taught me how to be very, very strict with my discernment and prioritize everything. So the news and other people's toxicity, it was fine. But I also wanted to make sure that what I entertained my mind with was very important, especially because I was trying to make sure I was very authentic and an example for my children. I wanted to be an example for them. So I can only do that. I can only teach love. If I'm giving them love, I'm showing them love, and I'm making sure that I feed that to myself. And I saw that with people being upset like that, it's like you can control what's upsetting you most times. You know, if you need to break up, if you need to get a new job, if you need to move, those are things that we can control. And for the things that we cannot, I behoove you not to spend hours and hours and hours trying to make sure you get an answer or looking things up. Some stuff you just don't need to know. It's over your pay grade.
Exactly.
I'm so happy to just say, I don't know. And guess what? I'll drop it down and start something else. I'm like, I'm not about to be upset. Why does the world move this way? Why do bad things happen? Why did my boss treat me like that?
Yeah.
You know what? I may not ever find out. And unless you're going to go across the room and say, hey, why do you treat me this way? Right? Unless you're going to die and be like, hey, God, what's going on? What was COVID about? Like, until you're about to be in that situation where you can get a real answer.
Get answers, right? Why bother?
Right. You got 24 hours. What you going to do with it?
That's right.
Some questions are just not going to get answered because people get very, very stressed. We have to know. We so nosy.
Yeah. And social media brings in that nosiness, right? It does.
That makes it worse. We was nosy before social media.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just crazy. But I remember, so like my parents are boomers. So news was very important. Like my dad was very clockwork. He'd get home, sit down, read the newspaper and watch the 5 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news. And then I remember sitting there and being like, well, when I chose to raise my kids differently, I was like, we don't do that. We didn't have cable for probably 12 years. And from the time my children were born and it was really funny because whenever we'd go to hotels or to grandma's house, my kids would like race to the little TVs and turn on Cartoon Network because they didn't have Cartoon or Disney. And they would be like, can we watch Netflix? And now I see them and they're not bothered by, their life does not revolve around the news. And
good job.
They don't bring it in. And sometimes they'll ask me because they hear it at somebody else's. They're like, Mom, did this and this happen? I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but let's find out what happened, and we kind of go through the facts and stuff. And I'm like, and I always tell them, you got to go to different places. You can't just always have the same,
same source
coming in, the same sources. And you have to put yourself in their position because what happens to me in San Antonio, Texas, in my family is not going to be the same as someone in another city, another state. I mean, we live totally different environments and lives.
That's totally true.
So
so
it is, and it does make you a healthier person if you're not listening to negative things 24/7.
Good job. I thought that was interesting because the grandparents, of course, well, they were just so happy to have papers, be able to read and television. They were doing pretty good.
Habit, I think there was much more habits with maybe. Well, it's also because they didn't have the internet, and now
they didn't have distractions. So
Yes.
and it's just like with farming, if you
Yeah,
had to
that's true.
prepare your meal, there were things that need to be done.
It's
You
done.
couldn't sit still. You wouldn't eat. So they
Exactly.
didn't have as much idle time as we have now. With
That's
everything
true.
being like microwave, we are
Yeah.
idle. And now with social media, oh my gosh. I mean, it's doing exactly what it was programmed to do, distract us.
Yeah. And it's weird because like I think I'm on social media more than my kids are. And they'll tell me, they'll be like, Mom, my friend just screenshotted and you're on their For You page on TikTok. I'm like, hey, tell them to follow me and share my info. Tell them to share me out. And then they laugh. They're like, oh, my
You're
mom.
simple.
And for Lent, my grandmother is Catholic, and when she just passed away recently, and in honor
Okay.
of her, I told my kids, well, we can do what abuelita would always do, which is she's celebrated Lent. So we went to mass where after she had just passed away, then that Easter, she passed away in November of 24. So this actually 23. And then in spring for Easter, we went to church like we would do with her. And
Mhm.
they were like, want to know more about her religion and her
Mhm.
culture. And so we did you give something up for Lent. And my son was like, I'm going to give up fast food. And then one was like, I'm going to give up Instagram and I'm going to give up sodas, right? Or sugar.
Okay.
And it was really funny. So we did that. And I was really impressed with the amount of focus they had on when they deleted
Really?
their Instagram and their TikToks
Wow.
and
So they didn't
their
even just put the phone down. They deleted
they
it?
deleted it. And one of them tells
That's a
me, I'm
completely
like,
different
"Oh,
commitment.
yeah." I said, "Hey, did you see what so and so posted on Instagram?" And he goes, "Mom, I don't have Instagram." And I'm like, "You're 19. Okay, weird, but okay." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Here, let me show you." And he's like, "Yeah." Yeah, he totally went cold turkey and deleted all the apps off his phone
Look,
and stuck with
congratulations,
it.
mom.
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment. It really is. It says a lot about you and your teaching and even being consistent. 12 years is a long time to be really off grid. That's how I
Yes.
felt, where it's like until I had a business, I had probably the
Yeah.
cleanest email box ever. No spam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Everything was
Girl, Penny
easy.
who? Penny who?
Okay. They were like, you don't have, no, there's no mail. There's no junk
Nothing.
mail. No,
Nice.
I'm not being bothered. But businesses, but I'm like, oh man, that's all the stuff I was really happy not to have. But
Yeah.
it's still great. No, your kids
It's
are
hard.
awesome.
And you know what? We did it because we didn't have the money for cable. So we were like, we had to pick and choose. Do we pay for this cable where it's a bunch of toxic stuff, or do we just not do it? And it ended up being really nice because we spent our evenings not watching TV, or our weekends. We were always outside. We were always doing sports or doing
See,
family functions and stuff.
quality
So
time.
quality time.
It's
Yeah,
important. I mean, we're
it
still
is.
in the beginning of what social media is going to do for everybody. Just this staying in the house and entertaining yourselves. I mean, the phones are big old pacifiers. It's electronic pacifiers. We're entertaining ourselves. We're making sure that we stay calm or we
Right.
relax or we're making ourselves feel better. And we're not depending on each other to do that the way we would beforehand. So it's like our worlds are smaller, yet we're dealing with all kinds of strangers. Stranger danger or no. Like, I don't understand.
I love this. There's a joke that says, "Wait a minute. It used to be don't talk to strangers. Now it's like, hey, DM that stranger."
Right? Okay.
get,
Like,
get into the DMs with some total stranger. That's funny.
everything's a contradiction on extreme. It's like to the third power now. No.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, did you see that Governor Abbott just they passed the Texas Senate that now phones are not allowed in any school, public school campus. No more
I
cell phones.
I saw something very brief, but
It
I didn't get
just
to read about it.
passed.
I'm excited about it. We lived without them
I think
beforehand. We would go outside all day,
we
not
didn't have
letting the
them.
air conditioning out, and we went way farther than
We
mom said
survived.
because she couldn't call us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's at being an educator and being a mom. I think it's a good move because I've lived through with one of my children, the social media bullying, the horrible internet creating fake accounts about my child,
Okay.
and it is not okay. a child should not have to go through that. I've even seen someone take pictures and airdrop it to the entire campus of
Mm-hmm.
a little girl in a gym when she's changing in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not okay. So I think it's a good move. Yes, is it going to
Yeah.
hurt? It's going to be that Band-Aid that's stuck on all the hair on your arm, and you're going to have to rip it off, and it's going to hurt, and kids are going to have some weird withdrawals. But you know what? You're going to survive. We did.
It's not, I mean, all right, yes, the kids are going to be on the floor shaking. They're all going to have seizures. It's going to be like really crazy, foam at the mouth, the whole thing, right? They're going to be having headaches for weeks, just complete withdrawal. But the parents are going to have a problem because we didn't used to have phones. You can go to school without having a phone. The teachers are playing on their phone. How are you doing that? You're supposed to be teaching the kids, but your account is popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna need you guys to stay focused. So I think this is a good thing. I have a child that also went through a similar situation like that, and there was no one to attack or hold accountable, because you can make a fake account and you can close a fake account. And I mean, there was racial slurs and bullying, and he was completely unaware, but you couldn't find out who to hold him accountable, because they could just do whatever they want.
I remember I called the police and they came and we did and he said, "Ma'am, there is literally nothing they can do." Similar to if they steal your money when you give them your bank account over the phone. It's like, it's out there, and it's, but with children, I think it's harder because they're so young and impressionable, and we are all about our lives everything is tied to school when you're young, and it can really damage them. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think schools you don't need to have a phone in school. You're fine. You will survive.
They don't take books and paper anymore. The one thing that they have, their phone. They can leave their house keys, but they have their phone. So to all the children and parents out there, I am not sorry that you're going to have to do a little bit of work.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Okay. Like, learn your address. Remember a telephone number. Yeah, I said it. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy.
I know. There's comedy shows where they won't even let you take your phone in, and they lock them. They put them in those sleeves. I think Chappelle is one of them. And in Austin, Kill Tony, they don't let you have phones. As you walk in, they like pat you down and lock your phone up. School will be okay.
It's interesting. And I mean, they need to focus. Everyone needs to focus and see. And that's where trust and then having your faith builds up too, because the excuse that we were conditioned to be feared, and especially after 9/11, right? And the school shootings, not that it was not a serious situation, but all of a sudden each child, whether they can read or not, has a phone. They can't even dial and call you. They don't even know how to use the phone. They know how to text and play on it, but they don't even know how to answer it. And you have to have it. I mean, the parents are so paranoid where they're calling their child during math, but they also are, well, what do you want for lunch? Because I'm in the neighborhood. The child is at school. Let's pretend that school is work for kids. You shouldn't be calling them during the day. No, I've seen all kinds of just mess. So I am all for it. Like, I think that this will be a good thing. It'll be rough a little bit, but it'll reinstall things that we should never lose.
And it really, we're real, like right now I'm very tied to social media. So but I do it for my business. And I've noticed that at the beginning during 2020, I got on TikTok, and I love doing videos on makeup and skincare and all that stuff. Okay. So I started being a
such a girl.
Right. I know, right? I started being a consumer of content. My husband calls it, you're either a consumer or you are creating. So when I started to being a consumer, and then I started focusing on my business, it developed into being a creator. So now I use it to create content for my business. I notice I don't even get on it that much anymore because I'm so busy pushing out content for my clients and for prospective clients that when it comes to me scrolling on my own, I'm like, I don't even want to be on it after a while. And
look, I understand. All those years of having clients on the phone, I just stare at it when it rings. Like, oh God. I'll be like, I just got off. It's like the taxi driver. You think he wants to go home
Right.
and his kids asking for a ride to the store? No.
No.
No,
That's
you're over
funny.
it. No.
Well, I
Everyone just has to
wanted
learn how to balance everything. And it's
exactly.
unfair. Even if you don't care about social media, life now is kind of forcing us to go digital, to go paperless, and we have to engage, right? That's the direction that the world is going. But at least you and your kids are still very mindful to keep what's important and the priorities things and balance it. That's all you can do is balance it now.
Exactly. And I don't know if you've noticed this with your clients, but a lot of my clients are coming from big insurance agencies where it's like on the internet and you just call, they're not really talking to one person. And now they're like, Serena, I'm done with that. I just want to work with an insurance broker that knows me and is local and is working, it knows business. So it's like I see people pulling away from the big box, big internet,
AI, we'll just call it what it is. AI and all
everything.
that, because it's annoying. When it first started,
I think people want humans.
It's like it's smart. That's exactly what I asked for. I'm on the phone, literally. Human, okay, 000, human, person, operator, not you, skin, like.
Yeah, who do you want to talk to? A human. A human.
Every time I talk, I'm like, I'm so happy to be talking to a human. I'm like, because it doesn't work. We are still programming it, but people depend on it a lot. Yes, it's very smart. It moves really quickly, but haven't you guys seen enough movies to know that this doesn't end well?
Right. Oh, girl. Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's an interview with, what's his name? Elon Musk. And he's talking with Senator Ted Cruz and some other guy on their podcast. And he asks him about 10 years from now. And you need to watch it because Elon is really funny though, because he's so brilliant that it's kind of scary sometimes because it's like, I don't know how much of this is true or if he's scaring us. But he said it could go two ways. It's like there's two options. There's the Terminator way, where we are, all taken out, or there's another movie and I can't think of the name of it, or it's a book, and it's where we coexist and we work. And it helps us be better humans, and we won't need things like we did before. There won't be poverty because robots will be helping us supply the food supply and farming. And so no one will need anything. And I was like, wow, I hadn't heard such polar opposite examples of how it could go. Obviously I don't want it to go Terminator, but I thought that interview was really funny, and I was like, oh my gosh,
it's really interesting. It's really hard you don't know what to trust. Like you said, it's like, are you warning us or are you trying to scare us? Is this the truth or you're just entertaining me?
You don't know.
You have to make your own decisions and just be mindful, just pay attention to your audience. Who are you talking to? Right.
Exactly. And I do know that he warned way before it launched that there needed to be systems in place before the launch. And he was not happy with them saying, let's just go all out and 100%. And he warned, he did say, there needs to be systems, but you never know. I know. I think we went off on a tangent, but it was a good conversation.
I was about to say, just like ours, we're having a good conversation. I don't know if these were the questions that you had scheduled. I'm not mad at all.
I know, but I do want to ask you a couple specific questions. About keeping motivated in your mindset. We did touch on that at the beginning because you've had such a experience in your life that really grounded you. But how do I ask this? Is there a mantra or a daily practice that helps you ground before you're stepping into these leadership spaces? Because it can be draining to work with leaders and organizations. So how do you stay grounded?
I pray all day long. All day long. I make sure that I sit still in between each moment. So, so like before I'm getting dressed, I'm messing with my hair, I'm talking to the kids, preparing to talk to you. Before I got on the computer, I stopped, took a couple deep breaths. I say a prayer. I ask for, just protection and solitude. Just, I trust you. Let me enjoy this moment. And then I make sure that I'm present. What I was doing before, I don't take into the next moment.
Right.
So I separate from it. So then here, all I'm thinking about is Miss Serena. I'm having this conversation with you. That's all. I'm going to give you 100%. I'm going to listen to you attentively, and I'm going to enjoy this moment. Then get off. I'm going to stop. I'm going to show gratitude for the giggles that we shared and what I learned from you. And I'm going to be grateful for this. I'm going to thank God for allowing me to have this moment with you. Sit still, breathe. Then I'm going to go cook dinner. When I go to the kitchen, I'll be all about the food. So I separate each moment and I keep it where it's supposed to be. Like, there's no reason for me worrying about this over here. Then, that's how you burn yourself, or that's how you miss something. So I just pray throughout everything to separate from, because you're right. It's very draining. I didn't have that tool beforehand. Through that illness, I mean, there was times that I literally going into the grocery store, going into H-E-B, Serena, if I was in there longer than 15 minutes, I may be in danger of having to have somebody come pick me up from the grocery store because I'm no longer going to be able to drive. I'm not going to be able to get out of this chair. I'm talking about full-blown clash because it was just too loud and overstimulated and being around all those people and the lights. And it's a lot. You see how many people we did with these events. It's a lot. But you have to learn how to separate from them. Leave them right there where they are.
That's right. I make time count, like definitely. I don't waste my energy on things that don't move me forward or as a family or my business. And it's like, we gotta move that aside. It's not going to give me forward movement. And my grandmother, my abuelita, who was 101, she used to say, siempre adelante. And she would point forward. I have a video of her. I would interview her and I'd ask her, okay, give me some advice. And she'd say, always, she's like, you always go forward. She goes, you don't look back. You don't go backwards. You go forward.
I like her.
She goes, you get this. She goes, you get this far and then you go forward even more. And I was like, I mean, it was just like so like powerful. But yeah, making it count and being in your space, like where you're at, that's so important. That is so important.
You have to. I'm with her. Like, you can't cross the street looking behind you. I understand you want to look to your left and your right, but it's like, no. Look in front of you, because you're not going to see what's coming if you're not looking in front of you. It's back there for a reason. Leave it back there.
And sometimes society and the news, they want to pull you into this back here. And it's like, no, we got to get going this way. It's like,
look, I am a firm believer. And I teach all my clients and my friends and my kids this, where be careful with nostalgia. Because nowadays with the devices, you can listen to the songs you used to listen to growing up. You can watch the cartoons you grew up with. You can see things that were going on in your parents' days. You can look at history further and further and further. But that's looking backwards. All the moments that we spend scrolling, looking backwards and reinventing or reliving those moments, you're not doing something today. And you're not preparing for tomorrow. Right. So be very careful with how you spend your time, because it's not back there. I'm not saying that it's a problem looking back, but look back, compare some notes, have a moment or two and move on. What'd she say? Move forward.
Always forward. Siempre adelante.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, she was a great person, and we miss her. She was our matriarch, and I tell my mom now, I said, okay, Mom, you're the matriarch. And she's just like, I don't know if I can fill those shoes. And I'm like, well, you fill them in your way. I was like, because you are a matriarch in your own way. You have a different, you have a different experience. My grandmother, was raised was born in 1922. I was like, you're not going to have that same experience, but you have these 6 grandkids and now you are leading the family, right? So she's in her own way.
I absolutely love that. And I like, one, you're a product of mom and grandma, and you're doing pretty good to me from what I see. They did a great job. Did a great job.
I try.
Now, look, that's one of those reasons why I'm really glad that you are with the hospitality part of NAWBO, because that mindset, being able to let people know, like, okay, well, this is who you are, this is who you're not, is very important. And I mean, it's bigger than imposter syndrome, right? Just accepting who you are and what you're capable of doing. That full potential is remarkable, and to be able to express it with like the different stories that you tell, and the way that you are just so playful and just kind of give it to people. We need it, because there's a lot of people that are just really upset, and you know, and that was one of the main things that caused me to join NAWBO. Just looking at the women and wanting to bring the acknowledgement of who we are, just who we are. Now it's like, I mean, I joined NAWBO to leave an impact, and not even just on just the person I'm sitting next to. I'm talking about every woman and leader here in San Antonio. And because San Antonio, I'm not from here, but San Antonio has such a special culture here. It's different than I've seen in all the other states and stuff that I've lived in.
Right.
It's different.
We are unique.
We are. We are. But as a woman, I'm like, look, as a woman, we each have silent, unseen obstacles that we are smiling through, right? That we are working really, really hard, and you can't see it. And we're maintaining our personal roles and all the responsibilities with it. We are amazing. We are amazing. And I don't care what nobody says. I'm going to spend the rest of my days making sure that every single woman understands exactly what you said. You are a leader in your own right. You are strong. You come from strength. You're handling your business as we speak. And it needs credit. I want to make sure that I'm available to teach her and him, you know, for the ones watching, and him, how to be exactly who God called them to be. Period. Like, I really think that's important. I made sure that I used my personal experiences and those professional experiences and to merge them together. I mean, like with my business, I make sure that one, who you are at work is the same person you are at home. I don't care what they tell you. There should be some consistencies and some differences, but there should be some consistencies. I made sure that I put that together when I told you beforehand that I actually have a system to create the T.R.U.E.L.Y leadership system. I use that experience through all of these to put together 9 steps, real simple. Really simple.
We need to do a podcast just on that. You have to share that with us. That is,
life is simple. We make it complicated.
Yeah. So tell me more about NAWBO and the Women Who Inspire Gala. And you're the director. So what are we looking at? What do we looking forward to?
Okay, now this is the funny part. We're just going to say that this is new. So I am not sure exactly what I can say, what I can't say. We don't know what the rules look like yet.
Okay.
But I can tell you my intentions, because I guess, you know, that won't make you get sued, right?
Right. Just a cliff note.
No promises, right? Disclaimer. This hasn't happened yet. We don't know. But what I want to do with the gala, I want to invite more women, because there's way too many. Did you know that there's 63% women in San Antonio?
No, I didn't know that.
63%, meaning more than half. So the rooms should be filled. There are plenty of room to involve more women. My goal is to talk to each and every single one of them and let them know you're important, you're powerful, you're special, and you're wanted. And it'll give them a space to tell their stories, to have the opportunity to win the award, but mostly just to share the moment, because we're awesome. Like women do a lot. We do a lot, and only another woman can understand that. So why not use this time to make sure that they see how great NAWBO is? Like I said, meeting you, we're just standing next to some pastries and tea. I laughed so hard.
What were we talking about? I don't even remember. I don't even remember.
We talked a little bit about our children, why we came. We talked about things we used to get in trouble for when we were younger. Just a little hint of, it was interesting.
I do remember that now.
But we really just kind of highlighted the interest in getting to know each other, not sell to each other, to actually get to know each other. Like, I hope I see you again, Serena. I hope I see you again, Pennie. And it was genuine. It was
Yes.
genuine. I want to say the whole conversation, only one sentence was dedicated to our job.
Right. And you know how I know when I meet someone that I like and I really connect with is if I do not remember what they do for their job, but I remember that their family, they have kids, you know, their smile like yours. And as soon as I saw you when we were going to Austin, I was like, I know Pennie. I was like, where have you been? I was like, why haven't I not talked to you lately? But
No,
yeah,
right?
you're right. That's how I know I've really made a connection, because I want people to remember Serena, not Serena, the insurance broker.
The insurance agent. You're
Right.
so much. What's funny is, insurance agents usually you're known for being boring. You are not. You are not at all. I'm like, oh, she just bought you guys some hope. Maybe I'll actually have a conversation with you, but usually they're boring. You are not at all. So when you have a real connection, it's easy to listen to. Like, I would listen to what you say about insurance. Which one is the best? How do I, separate the two? Which one should I prioritize? Because I can have an actual conversation with you, and I understand that you actually are listening to me, that you care. When people talk to each other, I'm talking to all of you guys. When you talk to each other with your business card on your lips, that's all we see or hear. And it's like, I don't know if your eyes are brown or blue, because that was all you put in front of me.
That's why I like NAWBO. I really feel NAWBO has, and I have met a previous, she's actually one of my clients, but I met her at an event and she said, oh, I used to be a member. And I'm like, why aren't you a member anymore? And this is a couple of years ago, or right when I had first joined. And she says, oh, I don't know, I didn't really enjoy the setup. And I was like, well, it's changed because I'm involved now. And I was like, I'm hospitality chair. Okay.
See,
I was like, we are taking over. No. And I think we've really, and this is real important because the San Antonio chapter of NAWBO is
the second largest.
No, I think we just became.
I know we're number one in a lot of things.
Well, I don't
membership. We're number one.
I know we're number one because we're Texas, and Texas is always number one. I don't know if other states are going to get mad and be like, no.
See,
girl.
and look, you got all kinds of Texas supporters now, but like, we're number one.
Right. Everything's bigger in Texas. So we got our big Texas NAWBO, and I'm just like so vested. I'm like, we will be the top number one chapter in the country. And I'm pushing for Austin, Dallas, and Houston to be just as big and just as welcoming to the women in their community. And I even told one, I follow everyone. I'm like a NAWBO Richmond. I follow NAWBO in California, San Diego. I follow everybody. I'm like, I am a NAWBO on all sorts. And I even told one girl, I said, I think the NAWBO from South Carolina has some beautiful events. And I said, we need to do like a NAWBO swap where a group of women go from NAWBO here to NAWBO, stay at an Airbnb and go attend NAWBO events in another city. I was like, that would be so cool, right? Because
that's what I'm told you. I'm glad that you're here. I don't look for everyone on LinkedIn and Facebook and all the places that you put this on.
Yes,
there's a new day in NAWBO.
Exactly.
There's a new day in NAWBO for sure. Because you can't have this many ideas, compassion, and genuine passion and advocacy and not have change and not stimulate some true progressive and aggressive impact, like just positively. So I am really excited. I'm really excited to work alongside you, just so you to be my homie. I'm really moved.
Thank you, Pennie. Well, excited. We've gone way over the long form content for YouTube. It's been a 58-minute conversation. I think
That's funny. Well, YouTube will still keep it. I have a podcast on YouTube. They'll still hold on to now. Instagram will cut you off in 2 minutes.
I know, but it's going to be good reels. I'm real excited on the short form content that we're going to be able to piece together from this interview. Well, thank you, Pennie, for joining me today. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and we need to do it again and learn more about. Oh, before we leave, where can people find you and how can people work with you?
Okay, so the best way to touch all the buttons is my website, www.pennieowens.com.
They can get to your social media off your website as well, right? LinkedIn.
Yes, they can.
Instagram.
And then, like I said,
Okay.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. But that's
Nice.
where all the buttons are on the website.
On the website, pennieowens.com.
www.
Oh,
Pennie Owens.
www. I know sometimes if you don't put the www, it'll.
Yeah, you'll end up in Narnia.
I know.
I've done that. And I'm learning too that penny outside, no matter how loud you say it, it sounds the same, but it's PennieOwens. I found out just recently that there's a penny with the Y, Owens.com. I mean, she has beautiful flowers and pictures, but that's not my page. That's not it. So spell it correctly.
With an IE, just like it shows on the picture right here under Pennie's beautiful face. It says PennieOwens.com.
Thank you.
www. Awesome.
www.pennieowens.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining me. I appreciate your time. And we'll connect later and do another show. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about.
We'll get into all kinds of trouble.
I'll see you at the NAWBO. I'll see you at the NAWBO event.
See you soon.